fans, and welcome to another episode of Screaming Titans, the vlog series where a bunch of girls scream about Attack on Titan.
I'm still amazed that we called it that. Oh my god.
It was a genuine surprise.
What did we call this?
It took us a while to land on that name, but it was no joke. So much time has passed since we recorded the previous episode. We both genuinely forgot what we called this series.
Wasn't it initially some comment disparaging us?
Oh yes, some person in the iTunes comments section of the AfterBuzz Attack
That's
on Titan
right.
after show said that the panel was just a bunch of girls screaming, and I think that's the highest compliment anyone's ever given to any show I've been a part of.
So I was like, nah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
But anyway, hello, I'm Megan Salinas.
I'm Katie Cullen.
And we are here to talk about Season 3 of Attack on Titan, Episode 59, The Other Side of the Wall. And I think... go ahead.
It's been a while since between when this episode aired and when we recorded. And that's mostly because I kept putting it off.
We're sorry.
So, hey, we're here. We're doing it now. Better late than never. Quarantine has given us enough time. We are recording this in December of 2020.
At the time of this recording, the most recent episode of Attack on Titan...
Season 4, Episode 1 dropped yesterday.
Yes. So, if nothing else, we had to come back to this if we wanted to keep doing it.
It was just kind of like, we thought it was going to drop on Wednesday because we found a date on Google and it was wrong, so there go all of our plans.
But we did want to apologize again for the long wait. We know that there are a number of people in our comments section who regularly asked about whether or not we were going to finish up our Season 3 discussion. So thank you guys so much for your patience, and we apologize for the inconvenience. The latter half of 2019 and all of 2020, a little bonkers. So just for 2019 for us just personally was really busy, and then 2020 has just been
stupid.
2020
has just been like, so we're getting you this early Christmas present. That is how I choose to phrase it. Glass half full, early Christmas present. You're welcome.
I guess that depends on whether or not you view this as a treat or not.
If they're watching this, obviously they do. You guys love us, right?
But no, again, thank you guys.
Blink twice if you're being held captive.
Thank you guys so much for, like I said, all the comments going like, hey, are you coming back? It really did mean a lot. And we're just sorry it took so long.
We have made a triumphant return!
That being said, before we get into the episode proper, if this happens to be your first episode of Screaming Titans, hello! I'm really excited for Season 4, so that's going to be exciting. But as excited as we are for the next season, right now we're only discussing this episode of the anime. What that means is please no manga spoilers in the discussion, in the comments of this video, because neither of us have read the manga.
Yeah.
And that has been a conscious choice on our part. We read the manga early on at a certain point during that first initial long hiatus.
Because our neighbors had it and it was easy to borrow.
But we stopped reading
because our neighbors moved.
We stopped reading a certain point in the manga, and we made the conscious decision not to keep reading because we liked watching the anime and being surprised. So we want to continue that for this final season. So please, no manga spoilers.
And here's the thing, because I know people like to do this, because this is actually how I got spoiled for the identities of the Titans before anyone really knew that. Don't be clever about it, okay? Don't, because I know people are like, oh, well, it's this. Oh, well, context clues. Oh, well, like, you think you're clever, but then someone comes around who's just as clever as you are or more clever, and then they sit there and they look at that comment and go, motherfucker, I've been spoiled. So, don't try to be clever. Don't think you're being cute. Just don't do any spoilers. If it was not discussed in this episode or prior to this episode, do not bring it up. If you are not sure if it was discussed in this episode or prior to this episode, I am sure that Google or a wiki or something can help you out. But do not put it in the comments section. You will be banned. You will. You don't get a second chance. You will be banned.
Yeah.
No spoilers. Don't do it on Twitter. Don't do it on any social medias. Don't do it in the comments. Just fucking chill. And if you know what's coming, then you can sit there and be like, oh, they hit the point with the thing. Because that's half the fun of knowing. But we don't want to know. So please respect that.
Yes. Please be courteous. We have both been spoiled for a number
Other
of
various things.
We've been spoiled for other series, and we've been spoiled for things within this series because of comments. Again,
please don't.
We know it's exciting. We know you're enthusiastic, and we appreciate your enthusiasm, but please be courteous to us and to other people in the comments section who are only watching the anime. So thank you again for being courteous. We appreciate that.
We do. We do. And if you're not courteous, you're gone.
So, let's talk about this episode. Katie, it's been a million years since we've watched Attack on Titan. How have our lives changed?
So much of this episode was just like, okay, they're saying this, why? What triggered that? Oh, okay. Or just being like, wait, that happened this season? Kenny was this season? Oh my god!
Kenny feels like a million years ago.
Feels like a million years ago. A lot happened in this season. A lot of people died. A lot of awful shit occurred.
I mean, the good thing about having a kind of decompression season finale is that for people who are binging the series or people who are getting back up to speed,
even just week to week, it's good to just kind of have a week to be like,
yeah, because that's basically what this episode was basically just now that all the action is done and like we've hit a bit of a pause, it's a little bit going, okay, what do we know? What's the state of affairs? How are we proceeding now that we know what we fucking know?
And how fucked up is Aaron at the moment?
And how emotionally are all of our characters dealing with the fallout of the entire rest of the season?
And the answer to that is not well. Welcome to Attack on Titan.
It legitimately depends on who you ask, it seems.
Who are you talking to? Hanji's having the time of their fucking life.
Hanji seems to be doing okay. Hanji's holding up all right. I need them to keep it together.
Yeah, I feel like
Hanji, you are my anchor.
Hanji gave us a scare this season, so it's like we're not allowed to lose them. Please no.
No.
Please no. Please no. We like Hanji. Just.
A lot of characters gave us a scare this season.
Armin gave us a scare this season.
Ooh, straight up heart attack.
That was actually something I got spoiled for at one point.
Oh, really? That was one of the things? Oh, shit.
Admittedly, not in the comments of these videos, from somewhere else where someone was not aware that there was someone who was watching the anime and not reading the manga on their feed. So they put a spoiler above the cut, which, you know, it's a thing. And I kind of poked them and said, can you please not do that anymore? And they were like, oh shit! So, you know, honest mistakes happen.
Yeah.
This is a thing. But that was definitely something I got spoiled for. So going into that episode and being like, well, we know what the decision's gonna be.
Not to harp on this too much, but we've also made spoiler mistakes in the past. Again,
we have.
We get it. Enthusiastic, and sometimes you just kind of forget what's a spoiler too.
I thought I was being clever, and I gave you a Game of Thrones spoiler back when that mattered.
That one was. It's pretty funny in hindsight.
It's hilarious in hindsight, but at the time, I thought I was being clever, and I wasn't.
You played yourself.
It was hilarious. I played myself, and you got caught in the crossfire somehow.
So. Again, I don't want to harp on spoilers for the entire video.
Nah.
But yeah. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit by
breakdowns.
By this stuff. We basically open with everybody giving their reports and everybody who like now has a say within this new system of government going, what do we do?
So, are we gonna tell people about this?
So We found the basement. Hooray! Here's what we found.
We found a lore dump. Oh shit.
We found a lot of things. I really genuinely liked this discussion, actually, of like, well, what do we do? Do we like keep this on the DL?
From people so they don't panic. And I appreciate the turnaround of, isn't that exactly what the king was doing? Isn't that exactly why we overthrew the king? Are we going to do the same dumb shit? And the answer is, well,
yeah.
Let's get back to our newspaper, guys.
I mean, like, not that necessarily every single episode of Attack on Titan has to have a particular unifying theme, because I imagine the story as a whole will have multiple unifying themes.
Yeah.
But the main theme, I guess, of this particular episode was
Information control.
well, not. I was actually referring more to how history repeats itself.
That too.
Although information control is not. I mean, that's definitely
A big part of
baked
it.
into the political structure of like this society at the moment.
Yeah, they've been here for like 1, maybe 2 generations.
100 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not many.
Nope.
Depending on your life expectancy here, that's not many. I mean, Armin's grandpa was still around for a while.
Oh, that's
Really?
sad.
Everyone who died this season, and it's like, oh yeah, Armin's grandpa.
it's more like
How's your grandpa, Armin?
you were at the funeral.
Forever sad that Attack on Titan Abridged did not get more than 1 season. I
Same.
understand why, but goddamn.
Same.
Yeah.
I will forever lament that. But
So I legit think, like, we had, never mind 1, maybe 2 generations, possibly 3, depending on the life expectancy in this relatively old-fashioned
yeah,
era.
not very many generations over the span of a 100-year period.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so they come to this decision of like, hey, we would be hypocrites if we overthrew the government to only then turn around and do the exact same thing that the old government did. So Hanji and Levi go and hang out with our reporter buddies.
I love our newspaper humans. I'm so happy we still have them.
Me too.
They're good humans.
And so they do decide to not only tell the public, but like straight up full disclosure. Like they don't really leave out any details.
Yeah, so the walls are made of titans. We are descendants of Ymir. The king made us forget everything outside the walls and made us think that we were the only humans left. And the other humans are more technologically advanced than us and actually fucking hate us all. It's like,
Could you imagine picking up the newspaper on a Monday morning and being like, the king was in charge last Tuesday. A lot. This is a lot. You know,
Martha, did you read this? Have you read the paper today, honey? It's a little crazy.
I would say that younger Megan probably wouldn't know what it would be like, to wake up one day, look at a newspaper, and see that the worldview of everyone in society had literally changed overnight. Younger Megan probably wouldn't have known how to deal with that. Adult Megan definitely does, because it's happened multiple times within our lifetimes.
So, drinking.
Well, no, just there are. It's
Oh no, you
interesting.
said you knew how to deal with that, and I was attempting to make a funny because this episode hit real differently in the year of our Lord 2020 when asking about the reaction to all of this news coming out. It's like, well, some people believe it, and some people think we're crazy, and some people are just ignoring it, and I'm like, oh Jesus, and how many of them are wearing their masks below their noses? Yikes!
Yeah, 2020 Megan and 2020 Katie see things very differently. Now, honestly, 2020 being really fucking shitty aside,
It's a very big aside.
no, but just there are points in time over the course of a person's existence
The last
in
4
which
years.
the world will be turned upside down. Like
the
talking
last
about
4 years.
Talking about just the last 100 years.
That's
and
true.
how many generations are within the last 100 years. Like how many times within the last 100 years has the world been turned upside down? Have people gotten up on Monday morning, looked at the newspaper and been like,
We're
whoa,
Japan.
when did that happen? Yeah.
Sunday, I guess.
Or
let's see, in the past 100 years, we've had 2 global pandemics, 2 world wars, the Cold War, even just the shit that the U.S. was involved in. Never mind all of the things that we may or may not have kept our noses out of, like, oh, Lord Almighty.
Vietnam,
Korea.
9/11, like, they're again, and that's just
the shit the U.S. has been involved in.
It's also just like military stuff. There have been like technological breakthroughs.
The internet.
Literally every single industry has gone through like multiple revolutionary breakthroughs and stuff like that. So, like the world being turned on its head is something that's going to happen to everyone just in the course of your life. But it probably hasn't really happened to the people inside the walls because, like, life has been the same for the past 100 years.
The biggest world turned upside down for them was, hey guys, what's going on in this wall?
The biggest shakeups were the Titans attacking the walls and forcing things. But even then, I imagine that over the course of the 100 years, with the exception of like our main characters and their struggles and everything like that, it was just a lot of the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And that was just life for everyone for 100 years.
Turns out it still is.
How about that?
Fucking capitalism.
So it's cool that, again, there's this kind of underlying theme of like, can we break not only the cycle of violence between like, the world who turns people into titans and all that stuff. Can we break that cycle of violence and like wanting revenge on everybody? And this constant retaliation and everything like that. Can we break that cycle of violence, and can we break the historical precedent? Just various historical precedences.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
This was a hell of an episode. Just the entire idea of history repeating itself and keeping information to oneself. Again, we have Aaron trying to figure out, like, well, if they turn Historia into a Titan, we can figure this out. But I really don't want anything to happen to her, Not thinking reverse and going, what if I'm a Titan and she sits on my shoulder? I could still do the thing. Like, I love Aaron. He's not smart. Listen.
It comes from a good place.
Oh, it absolutely does. And there's definitely something to be said for being so worried about an event that may or may not happen and being so worried for someone's well-being that you cannot see the forest for the trees. This is the sort of thing where he needs to sit down with Armin and be like, look, here's what's happening. Don't tell anyone. What do you got? Because if anyone's going to sit there and look at this and go,
but what if the other? Trust for now.
If anyone's going to sit there and go, okay, but what if the other way? What if we try it where she's just normal human and you're a Titan and see if that works? Like, well, of course there's, I was going to say there's no more Titans to test on, but there's one left in the field. Ribcage Titan.
It's interesting that again, with this theme of history repeating itself and not wanting to repeat the mistakes of the past, whether it's the quest for vengeance or whether it's like keeping information close to the chest, it's really cool that, just as a collective, they've decided, no, we're going to be honest and forthcoming. And as an individual, Aaron has decided, no.
Her well-being is more important to me. And we're, the other side of the fourth wall, we're all sitting here going.
But to be fair, there are times where discretion is the best course of action. So I just think it's a very interesting... I just think the timing of these two things is very interesting.
And again, a circle of trust meeting, I think, would really help with this bit of information. But Aaron is also super hecked up by life, the universe, and everything. And
also, don't you think maybe Historia should have a say in decisions about her?
Is she not in the circle of trust?
No, she is. But like,
I was gonna say, hang on.
Aaron keeping information about her
away
from her.
Yeah, it's a lot of
again, heart's in the right place.
But Historia, well, she knows most of this. She knows the whole royal blood controller, etc. That entire thing. She hasn't put 2 and 2 together in terms of, oh wait, this is how it can be used, because she wasn't at that particular part of the battlefield when that shit happened in season 2. God. Yeah, end of season 2.
Oh my God.
Yeah, season 2. Season 2 took place over like 3 days. Maybe.
I just had a moment of like, wait.
What year is it?
Yeah, because that was multiple years ago.
I will never get over being in the theater when they had that screening for the season 2 recap movie. Which
yes.
is just, putting
which
clips
was so
together.
fun. So
And
fun.
The premiere of the first episode of season 3, when we hit that part of like, oh, by the way, I'm this Titan, and I'm this Titan, and the whole theater just lost their shit.
Because it's genuinely funny.
It's so, and then it's coming, and I love that, and I'm sure we talked about this before, but I love that the framing of that was much the same of the framing of the manga, where it was in the manga, it was a tiny panel in a corner of the page. So it's like this huge information bomb, very casually delivered. Whereas this one, the camera was panning away from them and they were pretty much off screen when that dropped. And we're all like,
there it goes.
Pan that fucker back over. We have a conversation to have.
I need to have a word with the camera operator.
So I appreciate that that everyone in that audience was a fan and everyone was like, oh no, we know this part's coming. It's supposed to be terribly dramatic, but we all laughed our asses off over, oh no, not some guy. Never forget some guy.
Speaking of which, speaking of some guy, we should probably talk, because like another kind of fixture of this episode is everybody's prepping for this ceremony, in which they're being rewarded.
The medal ceremony and also kind of the mass funeral.
Yeah, they're being awarded for their bravery and their, let's be honest.
It's the You Lived medal.
Yeah, it's the Survey Corps. The Survey Corps victories. It has not been a long list. It has been all very recent stuff. And
it's basically
I am on a roll.
Moses died too soon to see any victories.
Oh, he did. So like they've been few and far between, but they've been monumental wins. And so
with high casualties.
Yikes. And so that's what this whole ceremony thing is. And while all our kids are there, Hitch shows up and she comes over to say hi to everybody. And Flock, who is honestly, I think the new Some Guy, he's just Some Guy if Some Guy was given a name.
I was gonna say, but he has a name, he survived this, and he has an opinion, and I can honestly see him causing problems further down the line, because, like, there's one thing to be said for having your own opinions, for making your own points, for doing your own research, as it were. There is something to be said for that. There is another thing to be said for you are in a group setting, and if you are the sole person going against the group, maybe you need to do a little bit of examination.
I don't necessarily know about that, because obviously that depends on the situation.
Yes, it does. That's why I said do some examination, not fall in step. If you're in a cult, there's a problem.
Call your dad!
Call your dad, you're in a cult. Get out of the woods, buy your own shit.
But what I like about characters like Flock, I say jokingly, he's like some guy if some guy had a name, but he is the sole survivor of Irvin's last stand. And
of the new recruits.
Yes.
Who did not get to do all of the crazy within the walls shit and were out being decoys.
That's the thing, is he is basically just a surviving red shirt that gets to state his opinion. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like that. not to talk about a different series, but Lost, after a certain amount of time, kind of stopped caring about the other survivors of the plane crash. And eventually, mild spoilers for Lost, decided to just, for everybody who wasn't one of the main ensemble cast members, they literally decided to kill off all the other...
Wasn't that the flaming arrows scene?
Yes, it was. And so, like, they almost, like, made it... The series kind of, like, mockingly, like, mocked the perspective of, like, one of these disgruntled survivors of, like, well, you guys are always going off on adventures and, like, doing this, and we always have to listen to what you say, da-da-da-da-da, and then that character got unceremoniously murdered. It was like the writers were being like, like, that's what people who watch the show, who talk about other
That's what we think of the fans who criticize that we obviously care about these 12 people more than these 24.
Exactly.
Or whatever. I don't know numbers.
So I didn't like the way that series handled, hey, I'm not a protagonist, but I have thoughts. I'm a person. I did not like the way Lost handled that. But you know, I did like the way this show handled it now.
Yeah, it's always nice to kind of step back and go, all right, these are our protagonists. These are the people who are like ass deep in thinking and all the crazy plot and all of the crazy everything. And it's always nice to have someone from the outside going,
yeah, talking about risking losing the forest from the trees. It's kind of nice to have that outside perspective of somebody who hasn't necessarily been in the thick of it. He's like, yeah, I'm not your friend. I don't know you.
We're only here because we're alive. And also, just removed from all of this plot shit, from all of this, you guys made the wrong decision.
Yeah. It's also sad to, like, see him give Hitch a bit of brutal honesty about...
He probably regretted being there too, and it's just like, oh god, that's something you don't say.
I'm going to give you some comfort. Marlowe did die a hero, and he kept us together and all this other stuff. He was amazing, but at the very, very end, he probably regretted it. And it's just like, on the one hand, I can't blame you for your honesty, because you were there, man.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like, ugh, poor Hitch.
There's something to be said for Hitch living with this as well. So, you know, we can sit here and be like, oh my god, he shouldn't have said that, but also be like, I get it though, he's real fucking traumatized.
And
everyone here is, it's great.
Based on what we know about Hitch, even though it's painful, she'd probably rather know than not know. Just based on the little bits that we've gotten from her.
Yeah.
She'd probably prefer to know, but that doesn't mean it's any less rough to watch.
Yeah.
Or to see his, like, Flock's subsequent, like, kind of breakdown. He's like, I know I'm not protagonist material, but, like,
I am an ascended extra at best!
I want to know that it was for something. I want to know that, like, even if I'm expendable, that it fucking mattered.
Yeah, just, like, tell the truth in your recruiting so you don't wind up with cowards like me.
That was brutal.
It's like, oh my god. Yikes.
And that's the thing, is that, like, even though he's not a main character, as a person, your life does matter.
Yeah.
Like, just because we're not seeing it on screen doesn't mean it didn't exist, or that, like, those characters over there didn't have a family. That poor some guy didn't matter.
Moses. Oh, Moses.
Exactly.
We only ever saw your arm.
But it's a good reminder, again, you know, not to lose the forest for the trees. And,
yeah.
You know, that, like, there are other people outside of this scope, especially with, like, the number of casualties that a show like Attack on Titan regularly deals with. It's kind of nice to take a step back and go, like, hey, I know that a bunch of characters just died. You still need to care, because those are people.
It's like, these are all still people. They're not necessarily all named. Again, we go back to some guy, which I love it.
It will never not be funny.
I know, and it's just one of those, like, did any of y'all know the name of that fucker who just got eaten so that someone else could have his ODM gear? Like, no? Just some guy? So we laugh at some guy because it will always be fucking hilarious, but every some guy is still a person.
Yeah.
And that fucking counts.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is between that and yeah, we should have saved Irvin. What the fuck, you guys? Y'all brought your emotions into it and you made the wrong decision. You should have kept the commander. And it's been so long. I don't remember why that decision was made, only that it was extremely fraught.
Yeah, it was between Irvin and Armin.
Obviously.
Just timing and who showed up when and where. And of course, Aaron and Mikasa are like, we vote Armin!
Oh no, I remember that. I don't remember the circumstances of Levi giving in.
Oh,
something about things that Irvin had said.
I think it was, he wanted Irvin to, it's been a while, but I think it was mostly he wanted Irvin to rest, and the future is for them, you know?
I kind of thought that was something, I mean, like, it would be one thing if it was Irvin and some guy.
Yeah.
But Armin has been just batting 1,000 in his strategies.
I am on a winning streak, Aaron!
It's not the same battlefield commander, stature, charisma, etc. But the brain is there.
He didn't have Irvin's experience, but he had his intellect is staggering.
He has a propensity for 9-dimensional chess and winning.
Yeah, he has a knack for looking at a situation and seeing it at an angle that not a whole lot of other people would bother to look at. And that's a very insightful thing that you need when you're dealing with a lot of let's be honest, these are insane situations.
Well, but he figured out Annie.
Yes,
Annie. I'm like, was Anne or Anna or
Annie.
something? He figured out Annie. He figured out essentially the main strategy to go after Kenny and crew.
Yeah,
like he's really been going for it, and he's been
batting 1,000.
Batting 1,000. Like, not everything works out all the time because that would be boring, and also this is Attack on Titan. We're not allowed to be happy, but you need a mind like that. You need that 900 IQ, 9-dimensional chess.
Yes.
You need someone who can do that, and he can.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of our main characters, so in my head I'm like, yeah, no, they made the right choice, but at the end of the day, that's part of the issue here, is that at the end of the day, they'll never really know if they made the right choice. It's more about just, we're dealing with this a lot in, like, this latest season of RWBY as well. Like, you make a choice, you live with the consequences, and instead of wallowing in regret,
you keep going.
You figure out how to take the next step forward.
You do what you can with what you have.
Exactly.
It's just like, well, now we have 2 Titans.
Yay! Who sadly now only have 13 years to live.
I thought they had less than that to start with.
Maybe. I think it was 13. Aaron has less time because
he's been
happened
a Titan
earlier.
For,
yeah.
He's got like 7 years or some noise.
Yeah, something
he has
like that.
not many. I don't remember how many years they gave him from the outset, but I doubt it was that much over a decade.
Yeah, no.
Very few.
But anyway, never mind the details that we can't remember because it's been a million years. We'll do a quick wiki review before the next episode.
Dear Google, how long does Aaron have to... Wait, no, that's going to be spoilers.
No.
Oh, shit!
Don't do it!
Google, don't give a fuck.
No, don't do that. But, again, like, we have this moment where Aaron tries to make Armin feel better about their choice because it's like, hey, you still haven't done this, you still haven't done this. We have the sea, and then just past that is freedom.
Freedom flashes back to horribly violent scene from his father's memories.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Maybe just go in another direction.
Maybe not the idealistic dream that they all fantasized about when they were young.
Yeah.
But that being said, after this, we basically have a little bit of a time jump.
About a year.
Yeah, yeah. And that whole trap that they set up to kill Titans that approached the wall, eventually,
really well.
Eventually it stops going, and they're like, wow, it worked. It pretty much took out
all of the remaining
Titans, and they were able to claim back Trost, and for the first time in 6 years, they were able to go past Wall Maria. So, yeah, they're able to, like, what ends up happening, they go past Wall Maria, and they pass a Titan that really couldn't move more than a couple inches at a time.
It was like 80% rib cage. Yeah. So it's just kind of inching.
And it's not moving to attack them in any way, shape, or form.
It's so like Connie's mom level of Titan.
Yeah.
Mostly rib cage here.
Yeah, but like this one can inch its way forward little by little. And so they leave it, and then they make their way over to the sea. And you know how you were just saying that we can't really be happy? Well, we get a minute.
We get a minute, and then we kind of go look back at Aaron and go,
he's having a rough time.
I can appreciate the basic human instinct when approaching a large body of water to just splash around in it and throw other people into it and just, like, go nuts. Like, I can appreciate that evidently that is something that is just hardwired into our systems.
Also,
because that's what they do, and it's beautiful. Let's go wading, let's splash on, let's yeet people in there, and then Hanji's like, what's in it?
It's not very often we get to see them act like the kids they were when they were initial cadets, right?
Yeah.
Like when they were still back, like, in training and everything like that.
Remember season 1?
Vaguely, because it's been years. But no, so it's nice to see them get to horse around for a minute, and Hanji perpetually giving us life, looking at sea creatures and going, oh! Levi going,
don't touch it, it might be poisonous. I don't give a fuck.
Hanji, let me see what you have. A knife!
Good.
An anemone! I've decided to name it that. And it's also really cute that they're like, oh my gosh, it's legitimately salt. It's salt water. Poor Sasha going, my eyes! Oh, that was
I love
nice.
them all. And again, this is the basic human compunction to, oh, large body of water. Yeet self into, yeet friends into, yeet water at friends. There's just a whole lot of yeet.
Levi sitting here, I will not participate.
Yeet.
Even Mikasa.
Like, I will supervise.
Even Mikasa takes off her shoes and just stands in the water for a little bit. And it's really nice. Like, I don't remember the first time I went to the beach as a kid. But like, you know, just seeing the waves and like feeling your feet in the sand and in the water for the first time for kids who've never known anything else.
Yeah.
That's a moment.
I mean, that's going to be us after quarantine. Go down to Santa Monica and be like, ah!
Beyond the wall is the sea, and beyond the sea there's freedom.
But before we get there, we have to cross the 405.
Yeah.
No, not the 405, more like I don't even know, the 5. 5's over there, I think.
The 210. We have to cross Pacific Coast
We have to cross
Highway.
the 210. Ah!
We have to cross PCH. But no,
all 6 lanes at a sprint.
Yikes! You know what? Never mind. Not worth it.
Nope.
It is sad though, because Aaron really can't enjoy the moment, even though they've been dreaming of this moment for literal years. He can't enjoy it because at the end of the day, they live in a hostile world, and like there are people who want to invade where they live for the purpose of obtaining resources, and it's like,
beyond the wall is the sea, and beyond the sea is a bunch of people who want to murder us.
And
That's not freedom.
He ends the season with the question of, if we kill all our enemies, will we finally be free? And that is a very, very, very sad note to end this episode on, when the beginning of the episode was all about posing the question of whether or not we could end this cycle of violence.
Yeah.
And so I'm really hoping, Aaron, that the answer is that you don't have to kill a bunch of people for you to find your freedom. I hope there's a different solution.
I hope so too, but also just looking at this and looking at the fact that we are looking at institutionalized hatred and violence and oppression.
Yikes.
There's when you have pretty much no power, you also have pretty much no options. So that's this is why you vote, because abstaining from the system means that you don't get to affect it. However, when you are not allowed to be part of the system at all, but are still squashed by it,
could you imagine, you basically, you've lived in isolation your whole life, and then when you step out of isolation, you step into a world that views you as subhuman.
Subhuman and dangerous.
That's not great.
No!
That's not a good first field trip.
No. I mean, the ocean is a good first field trip, but all of the political baggage is a problem.
Yeah, so I legitimately have no idea where we go from here.
I'm also wondering, again, we don't know anything that's going to happen in this upcoming season, so, no manga spoilers, and also no spoilers for episodes as they drop, no spoilers for future episodes, just
we don't know. We don't always get a chance to watch the day they drop.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
these
so,
things happen.
Be kind. But given some of the parallels to some real world shit in history and also kind of in life right now, I have concerns.
Yeah.
I have a lot of concerns.
Same.
And so just again, there gets to be a point with you can't debate with someone who is convinced that you are not human. You can't debate with someone who is convinced that you have no right to debate, that you are beneath them. You cannot argue them into believing that you should be seen as human. So again, with a lot of options taken off the table, what do you have left? As much as we want to break this circle of violence, you still have to break it. Regardless, this last season's going to be tough.
It's going,
not going to be pretty. It's going to hurt us all. It's probably going to kill a lot of the characters that we know and love.
I'm positive that things are going to come to a head in a crazy way. And it would be naive to assume that everybody makes it out unscathed. I'm gonna put this happening.
Now. I need Hanji to live. And I scared the cat with that one. It was not my intention. She jumped. Out of everyone, I need Hanji to live. I need that to happen. They're probably fairly expendable on the scale of things when it comes to our protagonist ratios, but I need Hanji to live. And I'm sure everyone who read the manga is like...
I'm just sitting here going, but I like them all. I care about them all.
I absolutely like them all, but in terms of just stratified who gives me life, I need Hanji to live.
Yeah, I mean, up to this point...
Come on, 2020, give me that. Like the manga hasn't been out already.
Just looking at, the entirety of season 3 and which characters we've lost along the way, I'm like, we've been extremely lucky. I know we've had some big ones, but we've been extremely lucky.
I mean, we already know that there is no happily ever after for Eren and Armin. They are both ticking time bombs.
Yeah. Well, another thing to consider, too, is that initially, I believe the creator of the series was going to kind of have a rocks fall, everybody dies ending, but very,
wild!
fairly not too far into it, he decided to change his mind because he didn't think that was a satisfying way to wrap up the story anymore. But
it's
for a
really
guy,
hard to pull rocks fall, everyone dies
Well, maybe
in
not
a satisfactory
Maybe
manner.
not Rock's fall, everybody dies, but like
Nobody
everybody
lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And nobody lives ending, which is fairly common in horror and horror adjacent things.
That's generally your zombie apocalypse ending.
It's something that happens, I think, more frequently in horror than it does in other genres.
Oh, yeah, because in horror you are specifically killing people, where every other genre is like, but what if we have hope?
Usually you get a final girl or a final guy on occasion. You get yourself like an Ash Williamson or something like that. But every now and then you do get a nobody makes it out of this scenario.
For every Ash Williams and Sidney Prescott, there is a total party kill.
Yes! That is a perfect way of putting that. So I could but it's interesting that he decided against that. After a certain point, he decided that everybody dying was not a satisfying way to wrap up the story. And so I'm sure that at least some characters will have a bittersweet ending. But yeah, this is gonna be a rough final season. I'm also here for it.
Honestly, I'm guessing that if anyone's gonna make it through, it's Levi. He's a fucking cockroach.
He's also amazing.
Yes, that too. Like, I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything. They could all die. Who knows? Well, we've already taken they could all die off the table, but you know, they could all die. Whomst the fuck knows? But the point is, you can't sit there and say with any certainty, oh, it's gonna be this person.
Yeah.
It's a goddamn crapshoot. It's a betting pool, and it's gonna change from week to week, from episode to episode.
Not to jump too far into what may or may not happen in the future, but just throwing it out there, I'm very interested in seeing the type of person that Reiner is without Bertholdt. It's probably going to be upsetting.
We already knew that he was the captain of the SS Not Fucking Okay.
Yeah.
All right? Or if he wasn't the captain, he was at least a ranking officer. So... I'm glad you enjoyed that.
It's more like the captain ain't here right now. Yeesh.
Can the person who still thinks that he's a hero answer the phone? That...
Man overboard! Man overboard!
But I mean, that level of just straight up dissociation between acts, and Bertholdt having to be the one to hold it together for both of them, and Bertholdt no longer being able to do that because Bertholdt has shuffled off this mortal coil. He has been consumed.
Well, it's we've got what has Reiner become with the absence of Bertholdt, and
with the absence of a stabilizing factor, and also Annie,
and also what's become of Ymir? It's been
where the fuck is she?
Very long time since we've seen her, so it will be very interesting seeing all these plot threads that we've been, that the story has been weaving for the last 3 seasons, how all of those will get tied up. And I don't know if all of them will be tied up in a satisfactory way. I really hope this final season isn't super rushed, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Because the manga ended at some point. And I feel like this season would probably follow the manga fairly well because the anime, for the most part, has been doing that with, I think, the biggest deviation being putting Ymir's backstory in the middle of season 2, as opposed to the much later that it showed up in the manga. And as far as I know.
I believe that for season 3 in particular, they also cleaned up a few things. Yeah. Just because the way they were executed in the manga was a bit rushed or a little sloppy. And so they just kind of like, we're going to tweak that here and there. Like, it's nothing major. It was just more like, oh, here we go.
We have a chance for another once-over, so let's take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it would be bug nuts if we went Full Metal Alchemist and just had a completely different ending. But FMA did that because the anime adaptation happened halfway through the manga, and the mangaka just went, here's some notes. You guys go do your own thing. Do not consult me for it.
Don't spoil my stuff.
Because, well, pretty much go ahead, do your own thing, have fun, my blessing. I don't remember if she said, don't bring me in on it or not. because she very much had her own thing, like, this is where the manga's going, this is the story I'm telling, and we wound up with a massive divergence, and then Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which was the manga story, animated. So, who knows?
Which, honestly, I think they both work, you know?
Oh, yeah. One of them just, I think, fits a little better with the world itself, and the other one is like, bitch, we're having fun.
It benefits knowing that behind the scenes, the reason for that shift, that zigzag.
Yeah. Arakawa went, look, your production is catching up to my schedule, and I'm not letting you get ahead of where I am, so here's a few plot points, have a good time. That's kind of what happened to Chrono Crusade, except the Chrono Crusade anime was a fucking mess.
But Attack on Titan has been an exceedingly faithful adaptation, so I don't think we're gonna just veer off there. And granted, again, I don't know what's coming because we haven't read the manga, but like, I feel like they'll probably stick to whatever that ending is, but we shall see.
It'll be wild. It's gonna be a wild ass ride, no matter what happens. Because this is Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it's gonna be upsetting. I'm real excited. Yeah, no, it's gonna be rough, but I mean, we've been talking about Attack on Titan for several years now. I am very much excited to see how the story wraps up.
That's how we started doing this sort of recap thing.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Well, that's how I started. You were already doing it.
I was already kind of doing stuff.
You were already kind of...
I needed to talk about Attack on Titan with people. It is the anime that got me back into anime. And,
I never left.
And when... Well, like, it's not that I left. It's just for a while nothing really interested me. It's not like I stopped liking anime. It was more like I was just watching older anime that I had never gotten around to watching, and I really wasn't watching anything new.
And now we're watching Overlord.
And now we're watching Overlord.
No regrets.
So it'll be nice to see everything, to see how everything wraps up. So, yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Like, I'm seriously, let's do this. End of each episode. Just place your bets for Survivor. I think Levi's gonna make it. I want Anji to make it. I think Levi's gonna make it.
Mikasa. I think she's gonna make it.
The other Levi.
I think... The other Ackerman, yes.
Shit, I forgot about that. Yep. Been a long time. Oh boy.
But anyway, I think Mikasa, especially, although, even though we might not have a total party kill for the entire cast, we might have a total party kill for our three main characters.
Why do you think I'm betting on Levi? I don't think Mikasa wants to live if Eren and Armin go down. She's made that pretty fucking clear.
I think she has a good chance to make it. That's where I'm just putting my thoughts out there.
Okay.
She's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
No one's gonna take her out.
I want... You say that. I want Hanji. I'm betting Levi.
I'm betting...
I can understand where the odds are on this one.
I'm betting Mikasa. Wouldn't it be great? Sasha. She's a survivor.
Sasha is the dark horse here. Our survivors are Sasha, Connie, and Sean. And Flock. Fucking Flock makes it out the other side and no one else does.
Everybody else dies, but Flock lives.
Yeah, Flock makes it out the other side and no one else does. And he's like, let me tell you my story, children.
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?
Evidently Flock is the one who tells your story and the rest of us are just like, oh my god.
Listen to my tale! That would be hilarious.
I'd be nuts. Oh my god. It's not a total party kill, but it might as well be.
May very well be why he was introduced. But anyway,
why did you live? Because that's my goddamn job.
That's enough speculating on our part, I think. Anybody who does have manga spoilers
is probably sitting there right now.
Yeah, no, we are probably driving you insane, so we should probably go ahead.
Thank you for keeping the comments spoiler free.
Indeed.
For manga and for further episodes.
So Katie, final thoughts on the season 3 finale.
Just, we had some really high points, but we also have a lot of, we had 2 seasons end on relative triumph, or at least snatching a stalemate from the jaws of defeat, if we're gonna keep quoting Hamilton. This one was very much, we succeeded, but also, shit's gonna suck. So this I want to say, is the first ending we've had where it isn't like, oh, that's intriguing, or oh, we made it, thank God. This one's just like, yeah, we straight up won, but... So, really sets the tone for this next season. Really sets the tone.
Yeah, this season was a wild ride, to be sure.
It started us with Kenny! Woo! Yeehaw, motherfuckers!
Which was absolutely amazing and ends on a very somber, introspective, how can we change the state of the world so that we can be free, you know? And
many yikes.
Yeah, and our main characters have changed so much. Like, Aaron is almost unrecognizable from
Aaron looks a little dead inside.
He's almost unrecognizable from the hard-headed kid that we were introduced to at the start of the series. So, yeah, I will be very interested to see how the rest of the series progresses and how he continues to change and grow in the 1 season that we have left.
Yeah. If he lives.
If he lives. Oops. Okay, on that note.
I think that was symbolic.
Katie, where can people go if they want to keep up with you?
You can follow me all over the social medias, as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you like reaction videos to non-horror properties, they all live on that YouTube channel, as well as the other podcast that I'm on The Point, which is an Overwatch and Overwatch League podcast. We're on hiatus right now because the season's on hiatus, but we may come back and talk about all of these crazy trades that have been happening. Who knows? It's a good time.
And I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done
this is
one
why
of
I
these.
say all over the social medias.
Yeah.
Because it's just easier for people for branding.
Yeah.
Y'all. Branding.
So yeah, Twitter and Instagram at The Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I also do a Lost retrospective podcast called No Love Lost. Shameless plug from earlier in the episode, where my co-host Will Link loves Lost, and I don't, and we talk about it. And if you want to hear us talk about Rooster Teeth related properties, head on over to Rooster Team Radio on your podcast app of choice. And we're currently in the middle of
Ruby and Red versus Blue.
Ruby and Red versus Blue, because so those are a lot of fun. Go check those out. It's a really good time. And yeah, be sure to follow Silver Screams on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Silver_Screams. Like us on Facebook, all that jazz. I want to know, what did you guys think of season 3 as a whole? What did you think of this very kind of somber season finale? Yeah, let us know what you thought.
I want to know, only for those of you who have not read the manga and who are not spoiled, I want to know the over-under on your favorite character surviving.
Fingers crossed.
I'm going to run this betting pool. There is no money. There is no prize. But we're doing it anyway.
There are no winners in this game.
We knew that already.
Yeah.
We knew that from episode 1 with the humanity received a grim reminder bit. This show told us what it was about from the get-go. People being eaten. And I guess that's what we're here for. Horrifying death.
Yay! Attack on Titan out here being all bitch. You know what I'm about.
It's like, excuse you. You knew what the kind of show that I was. I have unveiled so much more of my plot and peeled away so many more layers so you can see all this other crazy shit. But at my core, I am about people dying horribly. You knew that. You knew that.
And I'm here for it.
This is why we do this on the Horror Channel.
Yep. But yeah, thank you guys so much again for your patience. Thank you for sticking with us, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.
Stay inside, wear a mask, be safe. We love you.
Yes. Do you want to do your thing? That thing you do?
Do you want me to do the thing I do?
Yes, let's do the thing you do.
Okay.
Sorry.
I
was just like, how do I even end this show anymore?
We're gonna end this with our nice 2020 ending, which if you watch my channel, you will be familiar with it. But we end with the important things, starting with wear a mask. Anytime you go outside, even if it's to check the mail or walk the dog, even if you don't think there's going to be other people around, you cannot account for the movements and decisions of other people, but you can account for your own decisions. Therefore, wear a mask anytime you walk outside your front door. It protects you a little, and it protects everyone else a lot, and that's really the point of it all. Do that. Support your essential workers. They don't really get the choice to stay home, and holiday season is hard enough as it is without a global pandemic. So social distance, wear your mask, support your essential workers, be kind to them. It's difficult. Support the post office. They're still suffering from shenanigans. And also, the holiday season is super busy, and they're a little bit backed up, and by a little bit I mean probably a lot. So buy stamps, be kind to your local postal carriers, and understand that if you haven't already started doing your holiday shopping, it might not arrive in time for the holidays, and that's okay. We're just kind of breathing this year, so support all of them. Black Lives Matter, Black LGBTQIA lives matter, Black trans lives matter, Black Lives Matter. That has not changed. That is not going to change. Black Lives Matter. Thank you for voting. 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 If you're in Georgia, we're going to need you to do it again for the runoff election in January. So please do that. And also, thank you for voting. Yeah. Take care of each other, you guys. Take care of yourselves. Wear a mask. Wear a mask. Wear a mask. And also take care of each other, because it's the only way we're going to get through this. And we love you. Stay safe. Stay healthy. You got a better chance of survival than anyone in Attack on Titan, so just wear your mask.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you for washing your hands.
Yes, wash your hands.
Don't touch
20
your
seconds.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe out there. We love you. We'll see you all next time.